Hi guys, welcome back to LAWLOR'S Law. This is your raw, unfiltered Birmingham City podcast where we just talk nonsense and just talk about things that have pissed us off in the week and things that have gone well. So this week it's just me and I'm joined with my co-host Jordan. How are we getting on?
How are we, mate?
Good, great.
Not as happy as last week, but we're still happy. We're still going.
Listen, we have the rough with the smooth, don't we? We're going to talk about the Stoke performance, and it was... We'll go into it more, but my opinion being is first half we were dog shit and somehow took the lead. Second half played better, conceded in typical Birmingham City fashion.
Yeah.
New signings, we saw a few that look good. In happier news, Lewis Koumas has been sent back to Liverpool and off he fucking pops.
Yeah, that's. I think I put it in the group chat the other day. It's close to the day that Ollie Burt left and the day that my daughter was born for happiest days of my life. So
I read that message and I was literally gone. Like I was literally had to put the phone down for a minute and compose because I was just like, oh my god.
I think our mate Boy in Blue, didn't he? Jay, I think he had a good chuckle to it because he laughing responded and messaged laughing about it. So yeah, I think that got a chuckle out of a few of us.
Listen, we wish Lewis Koumas all the best in his career. We genuinely do. We hope he finds a move that works for him. But clearly, it was one step too far. He's jumping up to a team that's pushing where the football we're trying to play this year. He might suit a team that's more of a low block counter attack. He's got the pace to get in behind. He just doesn't have the end product. I know he scored against Carv, but I don't know where he scored against Carv because I would have scored that chance against Carv, and he took about 19 too many touches. So grow up.
I think the big thing is with Koumas is pace to burn, but I think this is a big thing for me was when I heard that Liverpool had extended the recall on him, it seems like they want him to start games. I don't think anyone who's got any kind of ambition in the Championship starts him. If he goes to Hull, I can see him being a bit part player, kind of taking a background role for a majority. Will he do well there? Maybe. I mean, you've got someone like Ollie McBurney who he can service, but I think when you've got the names and the numbers that we've got in that squad, and he still can't make an impact other than the health game, really speaks volumes of what level he's at currently. I think it's in similar mindset to Luke Harris last season. It's yes, maybe in the future you could be a really good lower end to mid-table player. I'm sorry, I'm just going to absolutely blow my mind here, Jamie. Just breaking news. Birmingham have announced Vincente.
No.
All done. Sorry.
What time is it? Because obviously I'm on my phone.
We are 20 past 8 and 19 minutes past 8, and we've got the silhouette and the announcement.
Fucking hell, LAWLOR'S Law exclusive. We've never had a live drop on a pod before. Vincente announced. I
mean, like, what goes better hand in hand? We've just gone over the whole Koumas thing, and here we go. Vincente's here. So, sorry. Sorry, my head's completely gone to Mars now, but what a time to do that.
Listen, and the writing was like going back to Lewis Koumas very quickly. We appreciate because he did try hard. You could see he was trying as well. The kid, like you could see he was trying to get things moving, but he just didn't have that. I don't know if it was. It's a young thing, isn't it? He's still young. He's still, and they say, don't they? There's one thing you can't train in life. It's pace. He's got pace, and with pace, a manager can one day get him to be a good footballer. Liverpool have played him. He scored goals for Liverpool, a couple. So there's a player in there.
I think
it just maybe was a year too early.
If he hadn't have come from Liverpool on loan and maybe hadn't have had the failed Stoke move, which I do want to kind of just mention the fact that Stoke warned us what kind of player we were getting. I think had he have come from a Fulham, a Brighton, somewhere like that, expectations may be dampened, and that's really harsh to say, but because of where he is and because of knowing his dad's history and how good his dad was, I think it was an overall disappointment, and I think Port Vale was the first game we'd seen him, and I remember, I think if we go historically back through the podcasts, I mentioned after the Port Vale that he was the Scouse Ollie Burke in that game, and my mindset didn't change. And it's probably on me a little bit to not kind of go, well, let's just get that out of the way and move on. But I think I'm not an expert. I wouldn't be sat at home on a podcast on a Tuesday night if I was. But what I will say is that I know what I want to see in a Blues team. And when he was on that pitch, I was like, this just isn't it, you know. Again, go back to Luke Harris. It's that similar thing of, yes, you may have a great future, but I just don't think you're there yet. And I think that the championship was maybe a step too high.
Is this going to sound really arrogant, what I'm about to say? And people watching, throw commenting on this one. Do we now have to become that club where we don't need to be the development club of Premier League teams anymore for their talent? Like, we've been there, we've done that, we've brought through these younger players and kind of played them for Prem teams, and then they've moved on and gone up. I think we're getting past that point now where we want players who are ready to go. We don't want to have to nurture a 21-year-old who's still struggling with his end product a little bit, where we want to be a team that's pushing playoffs now. We want to kind of try starting to go up the league a little bit. And I think like Luke Harris is your perfect example. He was a good player and he came from Fulham, and you could see in there, like, but this comes down to, and the negative talk begins, like a bit of mismanagement from Davis. It's clearly his first job. It was his first year in the job. But there was so many times last year where I felt like Luke Harris was misused a little bit in terms of he was a number 10. Everyone could say he's an 8 or a 10. You know he's a centre mid. He's centre of the park. That's where he's going to play. That is his position. He hasn't got pace. He's got good feet, but not much pace down the line. There was a game against Blackburn. We drew 0-0 in the end. Hansen went down with a bad injury. They've got battered by Hansen for 40 minutes at this point. That right back can't handle him. You've got Yokoyama or you've got Luke Harris. And he brings Luke Harris on left wing and we create nothing. Yeah. Not his fault, but it's one of them where it's like he was misused. There was a good player in there, but we forgave him a bit more because we're like, oh, he's from Fulham. He's done all right. He scored a couple of goals. Fair play to him. And now he's gone to Wickham on loan.
So my big thing for this is, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong again, shout out in the comments, kind of tell me if you think I'm wrong, but this is, on my opinion, is that we have an academy that is supposedly supposed to be, you know, up there with churning out. We know what we put out in the past, and you know, you could say, oh, you know, there's the case of Jude's really the only shining star, but you know, we know how to nurture it. And last season, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, the Zaid Pateka was just rotting away. Ramel Donovan, how that lad didn't get into the team ahead of a Luke Harris, or if this season, say, we'd have kept him, you wouldn't have seen Ramel Donovan up to this point in the season. And now he's at Brentford, and yes, he's not doing great, and yes, his Burton loan went tits up, and there's a few things about his attitude and stuff that I've heard, but as a quality player, you have to sit there and wonder, is that a Davis situation where why are we nurturing other clubs' talent when we're not nurturing our own? Now, I'm not saying this as in we need to use the young kids because they got battered yesterday by Blackburn 5-0. And I don't think our academy is anywhere near as good as it has been in the last 10 years or so. I think it's probably at its lowest point, even though we are going for, I don't know if we've achieved the grade that we were after or whether we were going for it. But our under-21 should be thriving. And I think that we need to really look at, if we're going to bring those sorts of players in, maybe not. Let's look at the Premier League clubs and how they do it. They bring these players in, and I don't like to mention them, but the Villa, they're signing 16-year-old kids. You know for a fact they're not going to play in the Prem. You maybe occasionally appear in a cup game or something, but they've signed it to enhance their academy. Now, we're not enhancing our academy. We're trying to enhance our first team here is what we're talking about. And if it was an academy player, Kumas, I wouldn't probably be as harsh on him as I am. But the fact Fujimoto's been down there playing for them and Kumas was in the starting 11 just absolutely baffles me. Like it's like genuinely kind of scary, the fact that I'm worrying now that there's such a big gap between the academy and the first team. And I don't want to pinpoint that to Davis, but again, like you said, being a first-time manager, does he just go, oh, I don't know about the kids? Yes, he's been putting them on the bench recently, but we've seen nothing of them. We don't really... This is what I mean. He's said that he wants them there for the experience, but how was a player like Kumas still starting games like Sheffield Wednesday when there's academy lads sat on the bench that would probably go out there and put the heart on the sleeves, if not anything else, and probably get more appreciation out of the fans? And I think that's the thing, is if it's homegrown and it doesn't work, you kind of turn around and go, all right, fair enough, we tried. If it's loaned in and it doesn't work, it makes you as a manager have a bit of egg on your face, because why were we having to look there? Do we not trust our academy? Do we not trust our signings enough? You can pinpoint injuries, but Kumas was still getting into the team while Dimian and others were still playing, while Fujimoto's down there rotting. And yes, we don't know a lot about Fujimoto and Samstead and players like that who didn't get enough time. We don't know how they'd affect the game, but in my mind is, what was the harm in trying that when it wasn't working? When it wasn't working, why didn't we try it?
Especially in the 3 games in a row where you've won 4-0 back-to-back at St Andrews and 4-1 and stuff. Like them games, when you're 3 or more goals up with 20 minutes to go, or 4 goals up, throw Fujimoto on, throw Samstead on, throw some youth on, give Bateka a game. Another youth player I keep thinking of that I thought got through our fingers because I really like the look of him. Brandon Gallagher.
He's been injured. Yeah, Brandon, Alfie Chang, another one. I know he's back now, but I mean,
injuries ruined him.
We were hyping him up that he was going to be the world beater. George Hall, we now, I think with George Hall, the injury has ruined his potential. We're now seeing at Port Vale he isn't playing a lot, and maybe we should have took the money when Deeney was tapping up West Ham to get him signed. But we've in the past, we've done it in the past. It's not a new thing, Viv Solomon Otterbull, Kobe Arthur, Reece Brown are 3 names that pop into my mind that should have had more game time, I believe, at that time.
And throwback name for me that goes in my head, Aqua Asante.
Yeah, Asante, another one. Yeah, I mean, I think he was kind of dealt a bad hand because he came through at the same time as Redmond, and all of the focus went on Nathan and not anywhere else. But anyone, I mean, Reece, Viv Solomon, Otterbull, Kobe Arthur came through at the same time as Damari Gray, so maybe the same argument shared there. But we clearly have something in the academy that would get us through a game. Like Zaid Bateka is probably going to be the next big one. I think. I know he's had an injury. I know that's knocked him down. But again, knocking around. When we have seen him, he's kind of. I don't want to say this in a way of like overhyping it, but he has come on and really, really impressed when he's been on the pitch.
Look, he started the first friendly of the season against Sevilla away, and he got an assist, didn't he?
And Solihull Moors as well. Sorry, I'm just getting sidetracked by the Vincente announcement here. So,
can we move on to, because we've mentioned him, and it's one that we're both really upset about. Stansted going. I'm devastated.
Honestly, I am gutted. When he has played, he's in a similar sort of vein of. I'm not trying to say he's as good quality, but in a similar vein as Wagner, he gave his all. Came in when asked. Never put a complaint out. You've got the likes of Hansen and Keshi Anderson and players like that have left and badmouthed us. I don't think you'll ever hear a bad word said about us by Samstead, and he's one that. I know it's not going to happen, but if in 20 years' time he was back at the stadium as the halftime guest, a lot of people would be wondering who he was. But you'd like to think that he'd be welcomed back with open arms anytime. Sort of in vein of his name's what's his name now? The Spanish lad that we signed.
Vicente.
No, yeah, no. San Jose, sorry. Yes, just my mind went completely blank. But again, not the best player in the world, but all he's ever done since is hype us up. And, he'd be welcome back with open arms now because he talks about us in a great way, and he hypes us up every game. Samstead is that utter professional that we've missed from this football club. And it's a shame because he probably wasn't the quality that we needed going forward. But this season, he's done nothing wrong, I don't think. I can't go through my mind and pinpoint a time where I've gone, Sam.
He came on. He's played near enough everywhere around the back. He played at left mid, basically, against when we were winning at Preston. Didn't whinge, went on at left back. There was one game against Derby, if you remember, Boxing Day. He came on at left back, ended up at right back, and then went into a back three at centre-half. Didn't whinge, cracked on. I have nothing but respect for that man because he just got on with it. And every time we saw him, not to the same vein, so don't harass me in the comments over this one. But he did that Maxine Collin, like just constant, consistent 6, 7 out of 10. Did his job, did it well, did what he had to do. And, it's yes, we've got good fullbacks. I get that. But I feel like he just never had the fair chance. And he never got to say goodbye, really. He didn't really get many appearances to come on and wave with the fans and give that goodbye. Because he was everyone's unsung fan favourite because we all saw him on the bench. When he warm up, he'd always get a round of applause. And when he'd come on, he'd get a round of applause and be like, yeah, go on, Stansted. And it's one of them. I'm devastated, but Max sent us both a very good point. Obviously, Max is in America. I hope you're having a wonderful time, Max. Get the word out in America if you could on the pod. Love you. We've upgraded everywhere. Everywhere we've sold at the minute and everywhere we've gotten rid of, there's been an upgrade so far. And that's what I'm enjoying. And we are going to move on to Stoke because we need to talk about Stoke at some point. But, we've gotten rid of Dogs. We've got Prisk. We've gotten rid of Kumas. We've just bought Vicente in as of 20 minutes ago. There are these upgrades are happening in front of us. The rumours are Thor's going ASAP. So Patrick Roberts is probably going to move into a 10, as Jamie discussed last week, and everyone thought he was an idiot. But clearly, if it happens on Saturday, I'm going to be so smug to you all. Osman has come in, and what he lacks in shooting, there is a very good footballer in there. There's a lot of pace, and you could see he hadn't played for a little bit because there was one or two moments, but I still think he should have had a penalty on Saturday at the start of the second half when he got took down in the box. But that's just me, maybe bias glasses. But, we're upgrading all these positions. Wagner's come in. No disrespect to Alex Cochrane. He's an upgrade. Yeah. Night and day upgrade.
Physicality-wise, upgrade. The vision and the overall football knowledge is an upgrade. I think this is a big one that we need to touch on really with outgoings is it looks like Williamson's on his way out. It looks like he's going to NEC back in the Eredivisie. Thank you for the good memories. Thank you for the really fucking good song because we all enjoyed that one, I think, when it came about. But ultimately, I think he's the one that, if you look at the two Icelanders that we signed, you'd be more, I feel more gutted that Samsted's gone than I will when Williamson goes. And
yes,
that's
and
crazy.
I will.
Yeah, that's crazy to say because, Williamson played more and he's done more for us, I'd say, in terms of on-field. But it's just not the calibre of player that we need going forward.
Yes and no, and I'm not playing devil's advocate here, George, don't get me wrong, because we all know how much I've slated Thor into the ground, and I could count on this hand how many headers he's won in his year and a half at Birmingham City for 6'4". Do you feel like Davis misuses people? In terms of Williamson is clearly your centre attacking mid or that just in front of the centre mid kind of role where he needs a bit of space and he can actually play in the channel and pockets and find the little passes. Whereas Davis had this, I don't know what it was, if it's a fetish, where he likes to put him out on the right wing and then expect him to chase after long balls, or he's lumping it in the air to the man when he clearly can't win a header. There was moments where I kind of go, I feel sorry for Thor in a way because it's kind of like he's been a little bit misused at the same time. Like he's expecting to pick up the ball with 4 players around him. No one's moving around him at times because we're too scared of losing possession. Like especially start of the season, like that Sheffield United game, like stuff like that was what winds me up with Davis, when it's like he's had 3 months out with a muscle injury and you've thrown him straight in the deep end starting away at Sheffield United.
Yeah, so I think the thing with Thor is the one thing I will say positively is he has, for a big man, some of the smartest feet you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like his overall control on the ball is crazy, and I think he'll go on and he'll be a key player at whatever team he goes to. But for where we're heading, probably not that sort of player that we need. We need someone now that's. I think this is the issue that we've had with Dukes and maybe Stano in previous weeks. That, you know, we moaned last week about scapegoating, but Williamson's been another one that's kind of been scapegoated because it's the style of play coming in towards them. And yes, he's a 6'4" big man and a shithouse, but you'd kind of, I've always thought of Thor more as kind of tucked in off the wing, maybe inverted winger style, because what he does do well is get the ball into that corner and can, in all fairness to him, can put a good cross in. His shooting, again, League One, I have no complaints really about his shooting. I think it was just the fact that he didn't have the pace. He couldn't win a header. Not physical enough. He's built. He was like, it's the best way to explain. He was paper thin. You know, he could be touched and he'd fall over, sort of thing. Yeah. And I think that kind of doesn't work in the Championship, and I think that's why we've had to do such a big turnaround in January. Because we've gone from League One, where it's keep the ball and just get knocked over occasionally and just get through on goal, to now they'll knock you over, get the ball, and it straight goes into a counter-attack. And I think that's the thing, is we weren't built for that, and I don't think Davis was fully expecting it. I think Max has touched on that there with Davis really being under the microscope, because
agree, because we've upgraded so much now. It's not like a case of, okay, well, you've got mid-table now with these players, what are you going to do with these players? Like,
so this is the point that we were leading on to there, is kind of, yes, we've come up from League One, and I think it's been a culture shock. And I think as fans, we knew what to expect. But I think Davis, for his first time managing, didn't know what to expect. Some of the players maybe didn't kind of have that idea, because most of them, that was their first time in English football. Some of them, you know, most of them, I would say, are young and were still learning on the job. And I think that's the thing, is the telling tale was the fact that we've overturned so much from the summer to now. And players that we thought would go on to do good things, not great things, but good things, are kind of at a point now where we're like, you've been found out. And I think one that's been mentioned a lot online is Neumann, which personally I think is wrong, because I explained last week, I think he's been having to do too much work at the back and hasn't been able to show his full potential. But I think perfect example of Neumann's problem. The amount of times Iwata tried to go forward, lost the ball, and then you literally, if you watch Neumann, he's looking at three people coming forward at him. He's looking at Clara, then looking over, going, fuck. He's got to dip over quickly, try and stop a counter attack. This is my big point. Is you know, there's obviously been rumours of interest abroad for him today, and what scares me with that is that I would not sell that lad now, no matter what, because the minute he goes, we aren't going to get two defenders in now. Maybe one before the deadline, or maybe a left-sided centre-back, and he will have more of a backup role. But we aren't going to get two in. And if he goes, we will get found out if Iwata keeps playing at right back, because this is the big thing that fans need to wake up and see, is that Neumann is having to cover so much space because, for one, they don't trust Beadle in behind. Two, Iwata's leaving him with three men on him. And I'm going to get some pelters for this if people are seeing it, but Clara has been found out a few times where his physicality hasn't cut it. Yes, you can knock people off the ball. Yeah, you can knock people off the ball. You can be a shithouse. But if you can't get back and help your centre-backs, and you can't come across and cover your right back and left back, we've been found out a few times for him. And I think it's unfair that Clara's got away with it and Neumann hasn't. I think Neumann's been scapegoated hugely because Clara's mistakes.
Well, here's one thing, and all of our fan base love to do this, is I urge anyone who's watching this to go on the online stats and just go and look at how much distance Neumann covers a game. Because I guarantee you it is a shit ton, apart from Wagner and Iwata. But in terms of Clara, I reckon Neumann probably moves twice as much.
Yeah, because he relies a lot on his agility and his pace. But another thing that I'll urge our fans to do is when you go to the next game, sit and watch Neumann. Watch how much the bloke puts his body on the line and knackers himself out. He constantly looks in pain and looks like his legs are killing him because all he's having to do is run at 3 people constantly. And I think if you had a solid keeper in behind, I'm sorry to keep going back to Beadle, and this has turned into a Kumas and Beadle hate page at this point. We may as well change the name of the podcast. But if you have a solid keeper in behind Neumann and Clara, we don't have as many goals conceded as we do. We don't pick out the faults in Neumann's game as much as we do. A lot gets found out because, yes, a defender should probably get that block in. But once it does get through, on the last line of defence is that goalkeeper. And if that goalkeeper can't keep the ball out of the net, you instantly look at the defence. Yes, we've all been pointing our fingers at Neumann, and I understand that. But where my problem is if we have a good keeper that saves it, then we can point our fingers at Neumann. But you can't point them at someone when your keeper's not even able to get down to a low-driven shot right underneath him.
Neumann's your classic, and it's the most classic thing in the world that I guarantee if we sell him, within 3 games, they'll be like, oh, fucking hell, don't we miss Neumann? But yeah, we do, actually. It's one of them, but no, we love Neumann, and this is the same boat that dislocated his finger mid-game and just cracked on. Like, he is hard as nails, and he will put his body on the line wherever it goes. So we love Neumann. Stop scapegoating him, guys. Leave him be. He's all right. He's actually trying hard. Look at everyone else around him first. That's what I'd say. And I know that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the very, very infuriating 1-1 against Stoke's reserves, basically.
Yeah. I mean, we were both there. We met up before the game. And I think we both were in the same mindset that after seeing the injuries that Stoke had and the fact that 2 of their goalkeepers were out and as many of their attackers and first-team players were out and their left-back was sent off the 3 days before in the midweek game, you looked at it on paper and you went, with our home record and the way that we control the ball at home, this is... And no way am I taking this away from Stoke. This should have been a 2-3-0 kind of game. And I think I went in with too much confidence because we just went out and basically started off where we left the first half of Sheffield Wednesday. And yes, Osman did kind of... I mean, I've seen mixed reviews online. Yes, the boot probably didn't help him and he was on his arse more times than he was on his feet. But he created a new kind of identity down that side, and it was always looking at his runs, which I really liked. And he got that Premier League theatrics about him. He went on his arse a couple of times, and we got free kicks from it. And yet we've still got fans slagging him off. Well, we wanted someone who would go down under the pressure, and I think that's where I think it got pointed out to me in the second half of the game. That Prisk could have done in the second half. He could have gone down in the box and got us a penalty, and he stayed on his feet and was probably a bit, I want that goal. But, we complain when players don't do it. Osman goes down, we all of a sudden turn around and go, don't know about him.
Can't have it both ways. You just can't have it both ways. I like the kid. I like the look of him. I think he's got a lot, and he's clearly not 100% match sharp because he only played 50-odd minutes. But I like the look of him, and I like Prisk. Like I said to you before the pod, first half I thought we were dog shit and somehow took the lead. I'm still bemused as to why the ref gave a foul when it was Ducks and the Stoke player pulling each other. So for me it was 6-1, half a dozen of the other. But I think we scored quite a clever free kick there. I thought the goal was very nice. I thought the set piece routine was wonderful. I like the way Stano flicks it back in and Iwata just taps it with his head. Nice, good play. Second half comes out, and as much as it's annoying to say, Steven Nzonzi is a fucking baller. Like,
Oh yeah,
there's no
yeah,
other way, but he
game
controlled that
changer,
middle.
game changer, and I think that's the thing is.
That's what we're missing, a
Yeah,
Steven Nzonzi.
I kind of wanted to touch on this actually. Solis, when he came on, offered us exactly what Nzonzi was offering them.
Yeah.
And the only issue I have with Solis coming on wasn't the fact he was on the pitch, it was what happened in the build up to that. Why, again, has Doyle come off? And Max, we're going to give you a shout here, mate. The undroppables again, Iwata and Pake. Why is Samuel not getting a game? Not even 10, 15 minutes when Iwata's, again, nearly giving away penalties. He's getting a bit too physical. And Pake, I don't get what... I'm not one of these that's online hating on him, but I genuinely think that Doyle needs to stay on and kind of build up a relationship with Solis now, because the Pake Doyle thing isn't working. And unfortunately for us, we can sit there and we can say that it isn't Doyle and it is Pake because we've seen it previously. Pake didn't work with Leonard, but Iwata sort of did when he was put in there. Last season, Pake a few times just kind of got left out in the cold. And I'm not saying I want him gone. This isn't me saying I want him gone, but if you're going to make that substitution, and I do just want to give a quick shout out because I've been given a bollock in it here that I haven't said it previously and it's a bit naughty. But my mate John, who I was sat with, did turn around to me at one point and he was like, he knows football. He knows what was it? He said, I know fuck all about football, but he's seen the two substitutions coming early. And we both looked at each other and went, that's going to be Doyle. The minute we seen Solis and Kyogo warming up, we instantly went, that's Doyle. We weren't too sure on the other one, but I thought it was going to be Stano all along because he'd run his bollocks off and he'd workhorsed. And for all of you that said he hasn't offered anything, another assist, from the corner. But that's by the by. The substitutions at the minute are mental. The timing of them, the personnel that's being changed is just... I mean, you're trying to get back into a game and Stano's having to have energy jellies and drinks brought to him, and you bring Patrick Roberts off for the last 5 minutes for Scott Wright. Like, make it make sense. Like, you're in the last added minutes of the game. Put Scott Wright on for Stano and let Roberts just do his thing. Just let him run. Like, I don't understand the mentality of why Pate can't go off, why Iwata can't be touched. Why Roberts keeps coming off is a wild one to me.
Yeah, he was quite good on. I know people said it was probably one of his worst games, but I think that's again down to you're as good as your fullback in moments. And there was at least 3 or 4 times on Saturday, and please watch this back, anyone who thinks I'm chatting shit, where Roberts has played it to Iwata and all he's got to do is lob the ball into the box or a simple cross and he fucked it up every time.
Yeah.
Roberts was really good on Saturday with his control and movement, and he was trying to get people moving. Roberts can't do it all on his own. Look at the amount. I know we said it at the Chef game when he did it. The amount of times he's started cutting inside and drifting into that number 10 role, and players are just stood still, looking at him, going, "What are we doing?" Like he can't do anything if no one's moving around him, and it's really annoying. Kyogo sub annoyed me because. Not because I wanted Kyogo on, I was screaming for Kyogo on as soon as it went to 1-1. My issue is that Prisk is looking great. Every header, I don't think he lost a header. Great touch. He's got a bit of pace about him, and you can see he's going to be a very tasty player. My issue is Prisk, every time he flicked it down, was trying to flick it down to Marvin Dux. My issue is Dux is too slow to get onto the ball. He can't help how slow he is. He's a class footballer. We know that. You are screaming that if there's ever a person you want Kyogo with his running ability to go on with, it was that. And it was 20 minutes earlier in that game because Kyogo would have got in behind on one of them flick-ons 100%.
So yeah, sat with John and everyone on Saturday. We all, I think we're in a line of agreements. Kind of turned around and was like, this kind of game where the centre backs were panicking, the goalkeeper was looking for early passes, screams out for Kyogo running at them, and I wouldn't mind. But the guys just scored his first league goal I was going into that game going, he starts with his energy and his pace. He starts like that's nothing against Ducks. I'm not taking it away from like this is the thing that we kind of overlook with Ducks is that you don't really see much of him throughout the game because he's just gets that one touch and flick on, but he pops up with a goal when you need him. That being the case, he is our Djukovic. He is the player that you put on, or your Lyndon Dykes. You put him on in the 70th minute if we're chasing a game and you go, right, go and win every header, every flick on, go and get a tap in at the back post in that game. I'm not saying that it should be every game like that because I do think starting him's a good idea. But that game was screaming out for pace, raw pace and power. Kyogo is riding a high. And if I'm him now, I'm going, what the fuck do I have to do? I've got the goal. I'm hitting the ground now. Let me go. And he gets 10 minutes at the end of the game. And it's like, well, he got more than that, but you know what I mean? Like you look at it and you go, why is he not starting that game? Surely the confidence now is flowing. He scored at Cambridge, he scored at Sheffield Wednesday. He would have been probably chomping at the bit to get on that pitch. And I looked at the setup at the start and I was like, yeah, decent lineup. And you could tell the bench was already stronger. But like, that was the one that confused me is either Stansfield or Ducks needed to be out of that game. And Kyogo really should be starting that because he's now going to be chasing goals. And I said previously, if he finished on 10 now for the season, I'd be happy. But how are our fans still not understanding that the bloke's not really getting a chance? When he does come on, we isolate him and lump long balls up to him. But why would you isolate him? Why take all of the attacking presence around him away for a player that relies very heavily on supporting players and watching his runs and his pace so much in round the back when we've literally just been doing that exact gameplay for 70 odd minutes? And it made no sense to me. And I think this is, again, where we've got to look at Davis and say, like, you're under the microscope now because you've got Kyogo, yet to be known if he's up and running. You've got Prisk, who's just come in for big money. You've got Stansfield, who we know what he offers, Ducks, who we know what he offers, and now Vincente to add into that. There should be now no reason why we don't really push on from here. If we don't, a lot's got to be said about the management and the way that game's managed. I'm not saying that I'm Davis out at all in any way, but what I am saying is it will be an interesting watch from here to the end of the season to see how, if anything, it clicks.
Yeah. It just, Saturday basically feels like 2 points dropped.
Yeah.
And we could have been 3 points off playoffs, we're now 5 again. And it's infuriating when you let that kind of a game slip away from you, where you 1-0 up, you're in control, and they've just you've been Mark Robbins. It's the only way you can say it. Set piece, goal. And again, yes, was it an own goal via Neumann? Yes, but he's man marking Steven Enzonzi for fuck's sake.
Also, in that, Ducks is at fault for that.
He ducks under the ball, doesn't he? Ducks.
Yeah. So Ducks, and I think that's the thing. Is the big thing is that Neumann again finger pointing went straight to him, and it's like the guy had not a lot to. I mean, at the time, I didn't even know it had gone in off him.
I thought it was Enzonzi.
Yeah, this is what I mean. So we can't really blame him, but yeah, I think the big thing for me is as well is for 90 minutes again, and I don't mean to keep banging on about this. I've done it every week, and I'm going to continue because I'm really am of that old school where I feel like the crowd needs to be behind them. The start of the game, fantastic. Yeah, the Hoppy tribute and the Arthur tribute, brilliant. After that, we may as well have all just gone and sat outside the stadium because it was dead silent. It's concerning me now that I'm coming to St Andrews and I'm having to listen to Is This a Library every week and the away fans out singing us. And Stoke weren't loud, but the fact that you could hear every single player talking on that pitch at times is concerning. And someone pointed it out to me on Saturday that because of the build up to the game now is so much bigger than it's ever been, that we kind of lose our energy with the excitement of the build-up, with the fireworks and the music pumping and the slow keeper on to walk out to. I don't know, or whether it's just the fans have gone a bit kind of stale. I'm not sure, but I do want to kind of mention also while we're on Stoke the fact that the fan behaviour again, ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous, man. Fights outside the Tilton, fights outside the Cop. You know, the incident down by Baines's bar, I don't know how much of that was football related, but it's getting silly now. We've heard 2 away games on a row, instances of racism, trouble within the own fan base of fans fighting each other, people just being outright disrespectful. And yes, we want to be nasty Birmingham, we want to be the nasty cunts that we've always known to be, but save it for the away fans, save it for the away players. Why are we turning on each other? What's going on? Like, I don't let this whole thing fly where I've seen people go, it's because we're fed up of just being mediocre and this and that. That's fine.
So is the guy you're having a fight with?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that guy that you're probably having a fight with has probably voiced their opinions and you've taken offence to their opinion, but you've got your own opinion to make you fight them. So maybe take a step away and kind of go, oh, well, that's your point. It's mental. Like, I remember sitting there and watching an 8-0 Bournemouth loss. If you think we're in the trenches now because we've got a manager who probably isn't up to your standard, then you weren't here for Zola, you weren't here for Rooney, you weren't here for Lee Clark. I'm sorry, but we've gone through the worst of times now. We're coming out the other end of it. What's the point in getting on each other's cases and fighting when we're at the best point we've probably ever been in and we ever will be? You're just making us look like knobheads. And when we go to this new stadium, what are you going to do? You're going to shoot each other out the chimneys all the time? Like, it makes no sense to me. Like, just go to the game, have a beer with your mates, that's fine. But you don't have to be sniffed up and drinking to the point where you're going to fight every single person in that stadium. Don't get me wrong, I've been close a few times to saying stuff to people, but that's purely out of stupidity around me. Like, if you're going to go to the game and you've got such an offence to someone's opinions, maybe football ain't the game for you.
I was just about to say this. Like, I'm quite a placid guy. I was a dickhead back in the day, and Jordan will testify. I was a bit of a knobhead, but I'm quite a placid guy now. Like, I have a family, I have a life, like, but I'm not being funny. But it comes to a point where I just want to go to the game, have my moan, like, on this podcast, and but I will always listen to someone's opinion. Like, I'm not being funny. You haven't fucking clearly sat there and dealt with all the shit we dealt with for 12 years. You haven't dealt with Carson Young. You haven't dealt with BSHL. You probably fucked off after we got relegated from the Prem. And now we got a new ownership and we're in the Championship again. You've probably gone, oh, I'll go back now and renew my season ticket. Right, I'm sorry, but it ain't the place for you if you're going to be like that. Don't come down starting on your own fans. I saw it happen next to me in the Tilton on Saturday where all the security just appeared out of nowhere. Like, it was mental. Like, and it's off-putting. There's kids there, man. Like, it's a game of football at the end of the day. We love our team.
My point is that you want to be that knobhead and you want to go down and you want to argue amongst yourselves. There's a club in B6 that you can go do it at. Don't come to us. I'm not having it. I'm not, and certainly I'm not having someone come down to the ground and being racist towards players when we're supposed to be the most diverse, historically diverse club. You don't come down and do that shit, man. Just
you're not welcome.
No, exactly. Like I said, you know where Villa Park is. Head down there. Go and watch rugby. Horse racing might be a bit more fun for you. Go to the darts. Don't come down to the football and do it, man. Because the thing is I've said in the past about away days becoming a bit stale when blokes are taking the birds for a nice day out and stuff, and that not being for me and that. But like, everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome, but if you're the people that I take offence to are the ones that get offended by stuff you say because, oh, my bird's here, or, oh, that's my favourite player that you're moaning about. Football's a game of opinions, and unfortunately, if you don't like someone's opinion, then just walk away. Go and turn the other cheek, be the bigger man, do what you need to do. don't get sniffed up and start punching each other's heads in. It doesn't work. It doesn't. All it's going to do is get you banned, and then you're going to be sat watching the football at home. Good luck fighting with your sofa when you've got a fucking wrong opinion.
I'm not being funny. We're 13th in the fucking championship. You know what I mean? There were seasons where we clawed on survival on the final day. The season we went down, like at that point, if you're acting like this and we're 13th in the fucking league, my God, you would have fucking set St Andrews on fire.
What I want to know is, what are you going to do when we're getting smashed 5-0 by Man City? If we get to the Prem, well, not if, when we get to the Prem, and Haaland scores 3 goals against you, you just instantly just going to turn to the next geezer next to you and start punching his head in. No, it happens. It's football. We move on. We can have a moan. We can have a gripe. That's what social media is for. As much as I don't like it, that's what social media is for. You've got WhatsApp. Text your friend with the same opinion as you and have your moan on there. Don't go and punch someone's head in because you don't like what they've said, or you don't like the way they've looked at you. This ain't a street fight. It's a football match. Like, we're not going back to the 80s. Like, I don't understand it all, man. It's baffling me. I don't get. We've had it recently where I've had to say something on here about people making comments about vlogging, and
that was my next point.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, but if you've got an offence to somebody doing something with their life positively that doesn't affect you, doesn't have to affect you. Like, yes, they're taking a video of themselves. They might be doing it for a certain reason. They might be doing it for monetary reasons. It doesn't matter what they're doing it for. It's not your life. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Move on with your life. Just go and sit with someone who's not vlogging. Fair enough. I've seen comments about the Portsmouth game about, people getting wound up and, oh, yeah, well, at least it's not another vlogger. But there probably was 10 vloggers in that stand. You still have the passionate fans. That's fine. The vloggers are also passionate fans.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they choose to take videos of themselves at the football. It's to document how much they love that football club.
Why don't you look at the respect factor of people? And we know who we're on about, like these people, they spend thousands a year. Petrol, money, tickets, and I'm not being funny. Why kick off at a vlogger? Why? Because they ain't been given free tickets. If that's what your gripe is for a start. Your second gripe is what? Because they go to all the games. Yeah, do you know why? Because they fucking go to all the games in the previous season. Yeah. They get platinum plus. That's why they spend their money like everyone else.
This is the big thing: is that I see people pointing fingers about getting favourites from the club and that. Nah, the people that we're talking about were there through the long haul and they've sat through the shit that we've sat through. Just because you kind of come and sniffed onto a bit of success and you couldn't get on bronze when we were in League One doesn't then make you more entitled to be there because you went to a couple of Prem games. I don't go to as many away games as I'd like to, but I'm not taking that away from someone else who's putting the hard miles, because I didn't do away games for so long because I've got a family, I've got a life outside of football, but I then don't take offence to the people that do get those tickets because they've obviously done something to earn it. They're not getting given anything. The club's ever changing. We've seen that within the board. It's not the same people we once knew down the club. I'm not being funny. There's a certain Tilton Dragon that we need to mention. She's not even in the Tilton anymore. You know what I mean? She's moved up within the club. So you can't even turn around and say it's the same old pit, same old, because it's not. We don't know the same people that we once knew down there. The club shop, ever changing. Every time you go in, new staff, it's been brought so much into the 21st century now from being a 90s football club that was ran that way, that I'm sorry, but if you're taking offence to someone getting a ticket to an away game, just grow up, man. Like,
get over yourself.
Ask your boys to get you on a higher, what's it like, the membership, the platinum or whatever it is, or maybe just go to more games and do more.
Yeah, don't just sit there and turn up for the big occasions, all coked up, thinking you're better than everyone. Like, this just winds me up. Grow up, man. Like, I'm not being funny, but I've enjoyed going to Blues for many years of my life, and I love it still. And I sound like an old man when I say it, but it winds me up. And it's not my girlfriend's fault, because she cares, but obviously she's not gone to the game. She's heard about all the debacle after the game, so I'm getting texts like, literally, "Are you safe?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm walking down the Cove Road. What's up, babe?" And she's like, "I've heard it's all kicking off." And I'm like, you're putting fear into people's families at that point. Like, and it's making it awkward for your families and stuff, because obviously you're naturally going to worry, like, a bloke's at the football, your partner's at the football, like, you're going to freak out. Like, it's not a fucking good thing to do. Like, and also, there's a difference between passion and just being a dickhead. And if too many dickheads start, I won't put it past Wagner going, I don't want anything to do with this, and he'll look at selling, because it's his reputation on the line.
This is my point exactly, is that we kind of sit there now and we look at all these clubs that have got all the nice things. They've got all the nice things because they do well within themselves. Wrexham, a perfect example. They've built from the ground up, really, from being as low as they could be to where they are now. You know, as much as we hate them, take your hats off to them, because their fans aren't ungrateful. They're not dickheads. Yes, maybe sometimes they're a bit over the top and thinking, you know, a bit highly of themselves, but they're not arseholes for it.
Huh?
You know, I think it's a thing within every club. You do get them, and you know it's going to happen unless you support Forest Green. We're not all tree huggers. We don't go to the foot. We've all got mouths, and I think that relates to your point of, you know, my wife texts me. She can't make every Saturday because she works. And she texts me and she's like, George, please don't get in trouble today. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I know what you like with your mouth. Because the thing is I don't go out to start trouble. But if someone says something to me, I'll say something back. I've got no problem with that. And I've said it in the past, you know. If someone says something to me, I'm not afraid to voice my opinions. I've been in trouble down the ground before with the security and everything because of seeing stuff that I don't like, and I will call it out. And this is the thing, is I think that the more of us that call this out, the better it is for the fan base. If you see it, you know, what they say on the train, see it, say it, sort it, you know, you got a problem. If you don't want to be a grass, you don't have to go to the police or security. Call them out, say something about it. You know, if there's enough of us there that agree with you, that'll back you. If you don't like something, and, you know, I'm not saying to go out there and because someone's shouting at a player, like, go and tell them to calm down or something. But if you hear someone being racist to a player, call them out on it. Yeah. You hear someone, you know, intentionally winding someone up, say something. You don't have to, it doesn't have to. What I'm trying to say is yes, we don't have to be dickheads, but we can also just be a little bit more helpful and a bit more respectful in the fact that, you know, if someone's there with their family and, you know, you and your boys have had a drink and stuff, just remember that they're a family. They're there for the exact same reason you are, to watch the game. But ultimately, they're there with their family, so they're there for probably a little bit of a different experience to you. Yeah. Everyone should be allowed their own experience down the football.
That's the beauty of football, isn't it? Oh, that was a needed point. Like, I think that's been brewing in both of us, how annoyed we are about the whole debacle of the fans at the minute. And, you know, don't ruin something that's so beautiful at the minute, because Wagner and this board ownership want the best for us, and they're giving us all this money and they're giving us all this stuff, and don't fuck it up, because negative press will do nothing but go against us at the minute.
And what makes it worse as well, don't do it when he's there.
Yeah, for fuck's sake, like, he watched it happen.
Yeah, if you're going to go down and you know, you're going to have a scrap, go and meet each other away from the ground and go and have a scrap at the back of the pub. Don't go and do it while the owner's there and he can see all of this happening and unfolding. He already hears what we've got to say in the negative side of things, and he's already got his own mind on that. If he then starts seeing us take actions like what we've heard about online, he's just going to turn around and go, what a bunch of pricks. And for one, he might not come anymore, which none of us want that to happen, because I love seeing Wagner down the ground. It proper, you know, it gives you a sense of this bloke gets us. If he stops coming, we're just another faceless club, you know. And again, like you said, the second point is, if they turn around and go, the fans are such a bunch of ungrateful dickheads, I'm going to walk away, we're back to square one.
Yeah. All this money gone, all this stuff gone, we'll plummet again. Like, not even funny, but they have basically give a lot of support to this football club because we were in the mire. So grow up is basically what we're trying to say.
Yeah, it's in your hands. It's in your hands. That's you know, I think that's a big thing that Wagner said when they came in, and Brady, is that the club is for us. You know, they're here for a short time. That we'll be here forever. What's the point in getting on each other's backs about it when, if you're going to get on a player's back or you're going to get on the manager's back, each to their own. But just don't get on each other's cases because this is our club, you know what I mean? We're here for the long run.
Exactly. And on that note, we'll manoeuvre quickly on to Oxford.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? What's your thoughts? Because they've just beat Leicester away 2-1.
This is the point I was going to make. I think a week ago, if you'd have asked me, I'd have gone, I'm really excited for this game. Now I'm nervous for this game. I think they're a different.
Leicester are in the bin.
Yeah, but they're a different. Oxford are a different football side to what they were under Rowett, and I think when that happened, we were all a bit confused because, and I think I still think it's the wrong decision, but they're not a side that's just going to lie down and take it. They want this. They want to be up in the Championship as much as we do. What we want is I think all of us want is to go to the Prem. They want to be in the Championship next season. They are going to put up a fight to be there. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that we need to stop underestimating is these clubs are going to fight us to be where they want to be. It's not like Sheffield Wednesday, and even they put up a fight. Yeah, we've got to really kind of look at Oxford as a threat now, whereas before at the start of the season I'd have been going, right, go and turn these over onto the next game. I think this is a real threat, and I still think we'll get the job done on the day. But I think a lot comes down to the team we put out.
I'd like to see, how are we saying his name? Vincente? Vincente. I'd love to see Vincente get a start because he's match fit. He literally played on Saturday. I'd like to see that happen. I'd like to see August Prisk get some time because I like him. I'd like to see Kyogo get a start as well. And I think I love Stano, but rest him. He looks battered. Give him a bit of time. He's had a week, to be fair, so he might be fully fit and ready to go. But we have so many options now. I don't see us losing. I see us getting a point, or at least a point, if not 3.
Big thing for me now, and I think this is a bit of a road call, and I did call this on Saturday, and I kind of got a couple of funny looks when I said it, but rest Doyle and Paik.
What?
I know that goes go with Watter and Solis.
Yeah.
Build a different partnership, or go Doyle and Solis and rest Watter. But I think Bright Asai Samuel needs to, as much as we've slated him up to this point, we've seen what he can offer at Nigeria. Bring him in, let him start. Maybe with now, either Vincente or Roberts in front of him, might be a completely different ball game. I'm not saying that I've got full confidence in him, but there's no harm in trying. I think
there's a good footballer in there.
Iwata's by far and away better in midfield, and I think that's the thing. Is I don't know if it will be the same because I haven't really looked at Oxford's team. But if you've got Pochetta playing left wing, you're going to have. We've seen what he was like. Only a brief glimpse when he played for us, but he's quick foot. Doesn't mind to cut inside. Similar to Wagner, he'll put a delivery in it, but he also doesn't mind a shot. I think genuinely you need a defender on that right side now, and I think that's the big word is defender. And Iwata is, as much as I'll praise him for what he has done there, thrown in at the deep end, that experiment should be over now. Yeah. We've got Laird close to return. Asai Samuel's back and looking like what we signed. Why do we keep playing a midfielder at right back? That is my big thing now, is this team selection has to be sorted quick.
Yeah, agree. I think we'll win 2-0, 2-1. I'd like another clean sheet away from home. It's just these silly little mistakes we keep making in set pieces, and they're going to go for these set pieces. They've still got that ginormous shithouse from Tottenham up front, haven't they? What's his name? Lancashire?
Yeah, Lancashire, yeah.
Yeah, they've got Brannigan, who's a good footballer. They've got good players.
So I personally think I call a 2-2.
Okay. I'm going to say 2-1.
I call it Desmond because for 1 hour away form, even though, yes, it's kind of got better, I still don't think it's great. I think there's still going to be a lot of nesting in for some of these players. We've got to see how Vincente gels if he does start. I don't mind getting a draw out of a game if he experiments with the formation or the lineup and we actually really give it a go. But if he goes with a different lineup, same formation, and it is so static as it has been recently, and we do look like those chess pieces that aren't allowed to move out, and that all football's coached out of us, then that's when the questions start to be asked. I think now give everyone freedom, set it up maybe different, definitely to swap the selection of the team up and really go after it now.
Yeah, agree. And yeah, the final segment, your favourite. Go on, George, lead us into Wanker of the Week.
It's been a difficult one. This week's been a bit of a difficult one.
Can I put one forward?
Yeah, go for it.
Sorby Thomas, fucking on his arse 90% of the game and just dove everywhere and kept getting stupid little claims of head injury fouls when he's holding his leg and...
Yeah.
And was he the one when Stano broke on the halfway line from the corner kick? Did he go down with no contact and the ref gave the foul?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wanker of the Week for me. Because Stano did not touch him, and you can tell from a genuine player's reaction, he lost his shit at the line because he was like, I have not fucking touched him, and got booked. And I think Stano was away for 2-1 there.
I completely agree with you. The referee as well, absolute fucking dickhead.
His last name was correct, Bell End.
Yeah, some of those calls were mental, absolutely crazy. I'm going to give a couple of shouts for Wanker of the Week outside of Blues, and they both kind of coincide with each other. And one's from last night, Thomas Asante for Coventry, throwing a fucking elbow at an opposition player the way he did. FA should be all over that now. He didn't get called up on the day. But we've seen what happened, and it ties into the second one in, I think it was the Welsh League, where a lad threw an elbow, hit someone in the face. He's now lost his job, been banned. I think the police have got involved and everything. Fucking nuts, man. How are you going to swing your elbow like that? That's mental.
There's a difference between and you see it happen in football sometimes when you centre half jumping for a header and they go like that. Accident, it's an accident. When there's genuine malice and you're trying to hurt someone, you're just a prick.
Yeah, both intentional. I think you've got the nail on the head this week with Wanker of the Week, but also a shout out to the dickhead driving the car at the Blues who could have genuinely killed someone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I don't know how much of it was football related or not, but there's people, you put families at risk. You've fucking hit cars. You're a proper prick. You know what I mean? And if you are a football fan, especially a Blues fan, just never ever show your face at the football again. Abysmal. Absolutely abysmal.
On the note of cards, and the last thing I'll bring up, because this has been a very moany pod, and this is beautiful. Can we, for the love of God, whichever fan base it is, stop fucking destroying people's cars, for the love of God. Near enough every week I see a new picture of a car that's been basically pulled apart when they're parked up for the match. Just fucking leave it out, man.
Yes, so it's not football fans. That's I think a few of the fan base know what that's about, but I think that's an outside of football issue. And for the fact that it's still going on when this, West Midlands Police have promised to have a patrol on there is ridiculous. And I think that just goes to show, how many police are in a football stadium and you can't have an officer or two walking up each street, especially around by Wheels where it seems to be happening in Garrison Lane. If you're going to go and strip someone's car while they're at a football, man, especially at a club like Blues where we're a working man's club and people have paid hard money to, their hard-earned money to be there. For you to go and strip their car, you're just a cunt, man. You know what I mean? You don't deserve it.
My car's my life. I'm not being funny. I lose that car, I can't go to work. I live 15 miles from my job. I'm screwed.
Yeah, I think if you're that type of person that thinks that, it's the same as any thief really, but that for the car thing, especially knowing that someone's in the football, spending their hard-earned money doing that, you're a scumbag. And I'd like to see more done on that, but the police just, people can say they're underfunded and that, but we've seen how many are in the ground. We've seen the horses back out and around, separating the Stoke and Blues fans on Saturday. You're not telling me that they're underfunded to have a couple of officers walking around the streets. They hassle us enough. You know what I mean? Go and do something positive for us.
Agree. And on that note, this has been Lawlor's Law. Guys, thank you so much. Please like, comment, subscribe and share. We appreciate you watching every week, and we'll be back next week to hopefully be happy about the Oxford game, but more than likely be pissed off.
Yeah.
Keep on, guys.
Keep on.